So one of the things I'm doing right now is working on some spec projects. Long-term goals or documentaries and trying to line up some work with some outlets, some larger outlets, doing like high-profile interviews. But for the time being, I'm targeting smaller local outlets and other freelance opportunities. So I'm gearing my portfolio currently towards that kind of work, as well as just, I guess, general video production. Anything that's going to kind of land me a paycheck to kind of help, facilitate, my long-term goals. So one of the ideas I had was to create kind of like a mini series highlighting some of the food scene here in Philly, but through an immigrant lens. So one of the first places I reached out to was a bakery in South Philly, and we met. The guy who runs the bakery is completely on board, and we decided that we were going to break the shoot up into 2 days. I would come in one day when the shop was closed, conduct the interview, and then I would go back in another day, like on a Saturday morning, and film him, preparing the baked items. So we kind of have like the full thing of like him starting and then like the shop opening. So without further ado, here's some of the BTS from that. So as I mentioned, I decided that I would do the interview first, which is obviously what you generally try to do. And I guess I got to his bakery probably around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It was a sunny day. And fortunately, because of that, I didn't need to use any additional lights. Just open up the blinds, let the natural light come in, and then use the black on a 5-in-1 reflector for a little bit of negative fill. Single cam using my A7 IV with a Sigma 24-70 art lens, and then the Hollyland, I think maybe Mars or Hollyland lav mic. But it was really fascinating to kind of hear about his story and how he got here, and some of the obstacles and hurdles that he had to deal with, not being native to America and not being a native English speaker. As I mentioned, this miniseries is looking at the Philadelphia food scene through an immigrant lens. And some of the themes that we're dealing with are using food as a conduit for community, food as a cultural bridge, but then with that, using food as cultural preservation. It was a fun kickoff to the series, and looking forward to getting into a little bit more of this. Unfortunately, I didn't get any behind the scenes of me doing the B-roll, so.
And opening this bakery is kind of like my way to keep that bridge